Hey guys, this is Mistress Nightmare here, and today we'll be reading a masky love story called Double Life. It is written by Spartan Neon. I have no idea if this person has continued this story, but I'll double check when I can. Before we get started, please hit that like button, comment, subscribe to this channel if you guys want more creepypasta fanfictions out there. Until then, let's get started. With a sigh of boredom, I doodled on my paper. That was supposed to be my history essay, which I find a new interest to finish a design while working on a Halloween costume. Just 1 month away, I've decided to be able to become whatever I want and stuff my face with a bag of candy. Most people will laugh at me if I need to trick or treat each year, especially since I'm now 15, going on 16. But you are never too young or old for free candy. It's easy to hoard candy in a big sack a year around instead of going to the store to buy some. At least for me, it was. I didn't have a big sweet tooth, so a pillowcase of candy that could last me a year, or maybe even longer, depending how much I ate, is perfect. Plus, I don't need to get it from the store. I was saving some money, so I didn't have a big issue with that. I was pulled out of my doodling when I heard someone, "Psst." I looked around and noticed the kid next to me, a young boy who was mostly pretty cheerful though. I didn't really converse with him too often. "What you drawing?" he whispered, giving a sheepless smile to show that he was trying his best to avoid the same assignment I was. All I did was look to make sure the teacher wasn't busy before holding up the paper or the picture slightly enough so he can see it. His eyes seemed to go wide with awe at my little design before he gave me a thumbs up and quickly went back to pretending to write when the teacher looked up and checked on the class. "Class, please. All eyes on me for a second," the teacher spoke. Instantly, every kid's head in the classroom had a reason to escape the boring assignment. "I'm sorry to tell you, but there is a new student joining us today. I would like you all to make him feel welcome." Mask? I have no idea what was his last name as I tuned the teacher out, as on cue, a young boy my age shyly walked into the classroom. With a creepy white mask with pencil-lined features, the rest of his face resting on his face, as he shyly lifted up a hand and gave a wave. It was cute, but without the mask, it would have been so creepy. My peers among the class let a shiver run down their spine and quickly turned back to their work, avoiding looking at him or snickering at the kid's odd-fashioned choices. I, on the other hand, could care less, though I had to agree with the way it was drawn. It was also meant to be kind of creepy. After the kid had made his introduction, he quickly shuffled to the nearest empty seat, which happened to be near mine, sitting down and tilting his head slightly forward his lap to avoid all eye contact, while muttering something harshly underneath his breath. His sudden change of demeanor raised my interest, causing me to cock an eyebrow at him while I watched him let out a quiet, annoying huff and set his books in the corner in the correct area of his desk. Once he was finished with his little passive-aggressive rant, He seemed to finally notice my gaze. He quickly looked up to see who was staring down at him. Then he noticed it was me. I was next to him, so no less. He quickly shot his head in another direction, bringing my gaze to the back of his hoodie instead. All I could do was give a small snort and roll my eyes before going back to my little doodling. I didn't even notice the kid turn back towards me at my snort and looked at me for a short while before letting out an insufferable sigh as he pulled out a piece of paper and started doodling himself. Since he was new, he didn't have the current assignment. Time skip. After class, and after more classes, I was finally able to go and eat lunch. I was more than eager to bite into my school food, funny as that sounds. Jumping in line, I quickly weaved around, grabbing a Snapple and some of my favorite lunches, which happens to be pizza and a carton of soda, and a few cookies before making my way to check out and darting out the mass of students searching for a table. Normally, I would sit with a small group of people that converse, mostly of girls and a few guys, every now and again, but today something told me to avoid them or avert from my normal path. Then I saw the new kid, eating lunch alone. I watched carefully as another small group constantly or curiously made his way to the guy. Most of them were girls, friends that approached him. I knew them. They were the pretty friends desperate of their status quo of the jocks, as much people will call them, even though they play soccer instead of football. I watched in surprise as they approached him, giving him big smiles and greetings, before doing what I assumed was asking him if he wanted to sit with them. The masked boy declined. I wasn't the only one shocked. The group seemed surprised as well, but the leader of them didn't question it, and with a smile nodded and made their way off to their normal table. Okay, now that I've seen that, what's up with this kid? As far as I can tell, he wanted to be picked on, because kids who don't make friends fall fast as victims to the few who bullies of the school, and avoided new victims. Most of the kids of the school quickly work as a herd as they could befriend the new kid. With a huff, I built my courage when I saw a group of the infamous bullies hovering nearby, heading towards the masked boy. Quickly, without thinking twice, I shuffled or made my way over there and grabbing the back of the chair and sitting down, stopping the bullies in their tracks, watching them suspiciously. May I sit here? I hummed before he could even interject my question, and I sat down in the chair next to him, setting my tray lightly on the table, shooting daggers at the bullies, who were practically hissing before walking off to find a place to sit. You can leave now, the boy muttered, before taking a bite of his sandwich, carefully working around his mask to eat. Nah, I'm comfortable here, I shot back, making it clear I didn't plan on leaving. The boy shot a look under his mask before he just went on eating, letting the conversation between myself and him die. I quickly looked at him with a raised eyebrow and ate quickly, without even realizing it. I was saving him from the English slaughter of the bullies, just waiting to swoop in. And this is what I get. So why do you wear a mask? I spoke through my food, trying to start up another conversation with a question that has been sitting on my shoulders since I first saw the odd boy. I watched as the boy went stiff at my question before taking another bite of his food and relaxing. Because I can, he answered simply, causing me to smirk. This is going to be interesting. With each question I asked, He gave a verbal and the similar answer. This kept going on until I finally seemed to break him. Quickly, he turned his seat and shot what looks like to be a glare. I could easily tell that he was glaring underneath his mask, clearly upset about my pestering. "Why are you asking me so many questions?" he grumbled. His fist tightened into balls on his legs as he held it in his anger, though I could easily tell that he was planning to swing on me at any time soon by the way his shoulders were hunching forward, supporting him by his knees. "Why are you avoiding all my questions?" I asked, humming, answering his question with another question, which seemed to irritate him even more. I watched him with a smile as he quickly turned back to his seat and continued on with his food. I did the same for the rest of the lunch. We spent the entire quiet, or I humming to myself and listening to my music on my iPod. I hid in my pocket. "I'll see you tomorrow, Masky," I cooed in a teasing voice as I got up at him before letting out a laugh and darting down the hall before he could respond. School had seemed to become very interesting indeed.